Yes. It's another beautiful day. Welcome once again. This is Africa's Talking Podcast in collaboration with Impact Masters Podcasts, coming to you live and direct from Pwani. Yes, I'm your host, Michael Kimathi, if you want MK. And today we have an amazing man, not only a man, but a doctor by professional. And one of the amazing thing about Coast is that every time I'm here, I meet interesting people. Interesting place it is. Africa's Talking provides you USSD, airtime, SMS, data bundle, voice solution, APIs for developers. Africa's Talking empowers business across Africa. You can find africastalking.com to access all these products. And today, once again, we're covering Africa movers and shakers in tech. And in an amazing turn of events, we've met this gentleman sometime back in 2014, back at the University of Nairobi. His story is very fascinating. Mthew Egessa is a lecturer of business information systems with a research interest in social innovations in the blue economy domain. He's a chairperson of Management Science Department at the Technical University of Mombasa. He also leads the Blue Economy Innovation Hub, Bay Hub, based at the School of Business. The Bay Hub is a platform for multidisciplinary and participatory action research anchored on the principles of human-centered design and quadra-helix approach to co-create solutions to real societal challenges. As a result of learnings during community interaction while at Bay Hub, he co-founded Mthew Solutions. Mthew Solution is a fintech startup that seeks to strengthen the resilience of fishing communities and marine biodiversity in relation to climate change. As an income smoothing solution for small-scale fishers, SSFs. Some new terminologies here I'm encountering. Mthew Solutions partners with off-takers who work in SSFs and facilitate tracking of payments, savings, stipend, disbursement, and loans. He holds a bachelor's degree in computer science, a master's degree in business administration, management information system, and a doctor of philosophy degree in business information systems. How are you, Mathew Egessa?
Fine, thank you. Glad to be here.
It's good to be here. And there's an alumni of the University of Nairobi. And for those who have been following me and some of the recordings, they might think I'm biased to my alma mater, but by coincidence, I would say I'll start with the guys who I know are movers and shakers. And if you know University of Nairobi is a quite diverse university, and people joining the University of Nairobi from all over the world, not only in Kenya but from all over the world. And most of those people are doing some amazing projects, including the Karen Hospital, right? Sure. If you know the Karen Hospital, some of the best doctors around, among us many other fields that in future will host. But how are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Yeah,
it's a pleasure.
Yeah. So that's just a profile that I've just read there, which I feel like this chief has given us like 0.0001 of who he is. But here at Impact Masters and Africa's Talking Podcast, we love to go all the way back because we believe a man's story cannot be told without him himself telling it. Please, where did it all start?
Once again, thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
I am Mathew Egessa, born and bred in Bungoma, which is in former Western Province. And then did my primary there. Went to another town within Bungoma.
What's the name of this town? Kimilili.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember Kimilili from Kimilili Sugar.
Sugar?
No? Or
Friends
Kimilili?
School Kamisinga.
Oh, Friends.
Because it's within Kimilili.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah. I was born in Bungoma a couple of years back.
Yes.
In a family of... is it 7? 8. Because I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. So my mom was a nurse. So I stayed in medical quarters in Bungoma.
Okay. So they were doctors or nurse? Okay.
My mom was a nurse.
Okay.
My dad was a physiotherapist.
Okay.
But in most, you'll find any man working, whether you are a cleaner in a hospital or you're a telephone operator, people will be calling you doctor. But yeah, so
even a janitor is a doctor.
So long as you normally work in the hospital, those days, I don't know if it's still the practice.
I think so, yeah.
Itakuwa tu you are daktari. So
yes.
That's where I did so I went to Bungoma DEB, where I did my primary from class 1 to 6. And then my mom retired. So that is when I shifted. I went to Kimilili. It's called Kimilili RC Boys, where I did my class 7 and 8. Yes.
How was that experience, going to public school, studying there, and now that you're in the education field, comparing even now you have children and you see them go to CBC curriculum, being a scholar, and, you also look at the both worlds. What is that experience for you when you just compare the two and,
Because for me, I'll call it a very interesting experience. And I don't know, maybe the families nowadays, quite a number of people those days, or quite a number of people who we're calling them movers and shakers right now. A good chunk of them went to public schools those days.
Yes.
And it was an interesting experience, because ideally, I guess it's what has shaped most of us into who we are. Because at times, maybe right now, it should just also shift with the thing, because I look at the current caliber of students, maybe not even primary and high school.
Yeah.
I look at my students and I try compare how it is we were as students, and I see a huge gap.
Yeah.
The level of kujituma, so to speak. I look at our days back at the university, and now there seems to be some disconnect or some slight change. But public schools those days, it was an interesting experience. It brought quite a huge chunk of diversity, so to speak. And it shaped who we are.
Yeah.
But I could say two experiences. In primary, I went to 2 public schools.
Okay.
But one was in Bungoma. It was a bigger town at that time. But the shift between Bungoma and Kimilili, as I told you, I was in class 7 and 8. I now went to stay with my brother.
Okay.
Who was a high school teacher.
He's older than you, right?
Yeah, way older. Okay. I'm the last one in our. I'm the last one in our family. So my mom retired when I was in class 6.
Wow.
So that
shows like your brother becomes your parent.
Your parent, yes. So at that time, there was a decision: either I should go to a boarding school, but my brother was like, no, let him just come to. I think he's gifted academically, even if so. The school compared to wherever Bungoma DB and Kimilili RC at that time, it seemed to be like it's kind of a downgrade, but my brother was really optimistic, and he's one of the people who've really shaped who it is I am. So I went to now the Kimilili RC.
Yeah.
Both of them public schools, but this is in a smaller town, and there was a disconnect.
Yeah.
So you move now to a school where it's now you become like kind of king, quote unquote, because in a way at that time you're a lot gifted, so to speak. So it's in a school where it could be a privilege for people to put on maybe shoes. There is some small minority who maybe don't come to school. Because now I had with shoes, so to speak. I had a desk mate in high school who used to make fun of me. You came from a school where it was punishable to now come to school with shoes. With shoes.
Oh, okay.
Fine, it was a joke. That really wasn't the case, but now he used to make a joke that you came from a school where it was now punishable to come with, because you may make others feel out of place. So please don't come with shoes. But that really wasn't the case. Really wasn't the case.
But I think those things happen in some places, just to get people into uniform and stuff. And it's because some of the teachers or the school management feels like everyone should feel equal, and why should you come with the shoes? What I remember about it, even me, I moved from town to a village. And I was so surprised that people go barefooted. I found it really interesting for me. So I stopped wearing shoes to school. But also I realized there's a challenge because, the stones and everything else, the thorns. So you have to deal with all these things. And also jiggers was a part of that problem. So you've taken me back a bit. So you finished the primary school. You performed really well.
I thank God it was. I did quite. It was the first year. It was the first year that we had the 5 subjects.
500,
So we were the first lot of the team that had 500 marks. And the other bit, as I was saying, within the other school, you come. I was almost in all co-curricular activities. Except football.
Oh, wow.
At least for that new school, because we were in gymnastics, drama, music festival, and at that time you're also quite performing well in school. So those days you were having badges. Best students in a particular subject, best student in a particular subject. So at a point you're almost wearing all the 7 badges at a particular point. So I really also didn't used to feel really good about that, because at times I don't like the spotlight. So it's but maybe it could work in the negative sense that it could make you almost
singled out,
or lax in particular subjects. But I thank God I did pretty well. Though at that time I really wanted to go to Starehe Boys.
Okay.
But that time I got 419 marks. And somehow I couldn't make the cut, because that time the students, I think either the last one from Bungoma that time was selected with 420.
So you missed by 1 mark.
So to speak, that is what they were picking very few students. But in hindsight, looking at how everything panned out, I think things are just meant to happen the way they did.
So where did you go?
So I went to Friends School Kamsinga.
I
really
now you're the guest from Friends.
You talk to the Nandas and whatever. So in school,
Alfred Ongere. It's not out, but
So it was a great school. Great school.
It was great school.
It was within the same vicinity. So I was walking now from home to high school.
Oh, okay.
Come to think about it. So
you are Nanda's neighbor literally?
Not necessarily. So for Nanda, he came from, he's from Webuye, Lugulu, close to Webuye, so which is a couple of kilometers away. But where my brother was teaching at Moi Girls Kamsinga, and then there is Friends School Kamsinga. So Moi Girls Kamsinga, they're neighboring. One is a girls' school, another one is a boys' school. But during holidays, so even before I joined, while I was in class 7 and 8, I used to go there, watch games.
So it was so familiar to you?
It was very familiar to me. By the time I was getting there, I kind of know all a good chunk of the teachers. And then my brother being a teacher, the place he was staying, him was Moi Girls Kamsinga. There were 2 Friends School Kamsinga teachers there. And then there was a gentleman from Chesamisi. So that experience made me almost, I was really young, but I'm staying with kind of bachelors who are from uni at that time, maybe 3-4 years from uni, all of them. So It maybe mature slightly early because they're the people I was hanging out with. So it made me, but it was a great experience. Even before I joined now, I was going to Friends School Kamsinga, the games and whatever. And I guess that's why I wanted maybe to go to Starehe, which was slightly farther away.
Different,
But even with the environment around, Kamsinga was really molded us. Because a good chunk of even the very close friends I have from now are people we were with in high school.
Very nice.
Yes.
This begs me to ask, like, why does the girls, the Kamsinga girls, does not perform as good as friends?
There could be a number of factors. How I look at it, at times, passing in the Kenyan sense needs some particular culture. And then also I'll call it the entry behavior. Because some people normally say, why does Alliance pass so much compared to another school? But if the last person from who was chosen to, like maybe Starehe, the last one from Bungoma was at 420 to go to. And then Kamsinga picked also some creme de la creme of Western at that time. Comparing to the other people who were picked to go to this other school. So the entry behavior is
determines
slightly,
a lot,
fine, it's one of the things that determines a lot. But other than that, there is also the culture of the space. The way maybe like at your end, you go to Chiromo, just by being there, you're meeting some creme de la creme of particular places. And the confidence and all that, because passing at times it's more of just believing in yourself and that outlook. So that is something that I think could be one of the contributing factors, because with time a good chunk passed. Even nowadays they pass, but within Kamsinga there was a culture that made you really believe in yourself. And you're like,
or nothing.
there was a cliche that like, whatever, just by being here, you're kind of assured of getting a B plus or a B
on the lower side.
So if you get anything above that, at least you've tried. That is your effort. And if you get anything lower than that, you've also really struggled to get that. It was an informal thing, like people, in the believing yourself, it's kind of like a factory. You'll give in some raw material and a product will come out of it, and that product should, because the way you've just been conditioned, you're doing exams, the cuts almost every other day. So in a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're doing exams.
It's like exercise, mental
it's a mental exercise. And you'll now be, the outlook to exams won't be like it's making you panic. You'll even go for exams without reading for them, and you'll still actually pass, because like I was in the drama club, I was the chair drama club, and the training that you're doing, you're coming from funky and on a Sunday.
And Monday in the morning.
The Sunday at night, you're having even a paper. Because even some day when you're, let's say, on opening day, the night when you get back to school, you're having a paper. And like the way the cuts were, I'm told in other schools, maybe the cuts, it was just whatever it is you'd learned that term or something like that. But in Kamsinga, you start cuts after the first term. You go for half-term break, and when you come back, you start cuts.
Yes, opening cut. There's even some weird names around those opening cuts.
But after that, it is, you'll do cuts your entire high school life till Form 4. Because every other week, you're having cuts. But the cut at Form 3, it's everything from Form 1. Every other time, it's everything from Form 1. So it's ideally you're conditioned to do exams. And so it doesn't like
surprise you or something new.
So I think that was one thing that, and then there was some bit about discipline that guys had to have. So those are the things I think maybe made a difference between, as we say, maybe my girls Kamsinga could be the culture thing and maybe the entry behavior.
So given your first day at Friends Kamsinga, did you meet Haemba?
So that time, as I told you, having been from within the I understood Kamsinga, I think way better than the few people who were getting
from other places.
So I didn't meet him because he had left like 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Either 2 years prior, because I think he left in 99.
Okay.
But I was joining in 2002.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Okay.
So I didn't meet him, but
you found his legacy.
Yeah, the legacy. He'd preconditioned the system in a way that it was just to take. But as you mentioned, maybe coming closer from there. I knew even which game to play because we used to go play hockey when I was even still in primary. I go play hockey with these guys because quite a number of guys from Kimilili are really good with hockey. Because like in the school I was in, there is a school called Kimilili Boys. They used to play hockey on our pitch, the primary school pitch. So when I get to Kamsinga, in as much as I was really good in drama, the first year I went to play hockey.
Oh, nice.
And I even went till the national.
You guys who kept winning those hockey national.
Yes. Because at that time, I think personally, I knew I had to go to nationals. And by that, when first year, Form 1s are still timid and all that, I knew defending champions, even if you fail at zonals, you'll still have to go till nationals to defend your beat. And the previous year, they had won nationals. So I knew if you're among the first Form 1s, somehow you'll make it to the national team. I wasn't the very best hockey player. I knew there were really good guys in Form 1, but that year they couldn't go till nationals. And I knew drama the previous year they hadn't won the nationals. So if I needed a national ticket, this was it.
Nice. So I went to the nationals. That's how you went in Form 1. You went all the way to nationals.
To nationals for hockey, but after that. We used to have inter-house drama. I was really good. So I was the best actor in drama. And now the teacher of drama he sent me to drama. And you had to be there. So that's how I switched. Now from Form 2 till the very end I was in drama.
And did you guys go to nationals?
Yeah. So from second year till fourth year it was national.
From Form 1 to Form 4. Any national event made be okay. You are supposed.
So at least for Form 1. So it just shifted now fully to drama.
And drama is interesting because man, I loved drama, and for me it was a bit selfish. As a man, I wanted to see nice ladies, and the only place you can see nice ladies is either music festival or drama. I have my tales to tell. We didn't go up to nationals, but I have my tales to tell.
I'd be interested nice. to also
very
hear
nice.
that.
Drama. If you're in high school, please, and the drama festivals is one of the things you can do, by all means.
Sure.
Or music festival. Yes. If you are athletic, I wasn't that athletic. As you can see, I wasn't that athletic. Go for football, hockey, or basketball. Though basketball is not big when it comes to athletics in Kenya. Maybe running is big, football is big, hockey is big, rugby is big.
It depends. I guess I also know quite a number of guys from French school who are doing basketball?
Who are up to nationals?
Up to nationals. Even some now getting either scholarship to go play basketball in the States.
And stuff,
or even nowadays KPA, that guy is playing for even the basketball league in Kenya. And even a good chunk went now to Strathmore.
Oh, nice.
Because Strathmore was picking a good of the talent from the high school games and things like that. So for like basketball, rugby, they did quite some good scholarship for them.
Maybe I spent so much time in the village secondary school that we associated basketball with, cool kids.
Cool kids.
Because even getting a jazzy, nice shoes, it was really crazy. Even nice pitch, crazy, until I joined another school. But that sounds interesting. So you are in Form 1 here, you know everyone, you feel familiar, you are going to nationals. You didn't really diverse from the academics. Like you did not really, lose focus. And this question actually I asked several times because there are so many things you have done, Mathew, which are very interesting.
You asked that question and then it took me back to some Form 1. I don't know whether Pierre and I gave you the same, but it's a funny thing. Form 1, Term 1. As I told you, for us, we started cuts from...
Day one.
After first term, half term break. So you go for a couple of weeks, go for half term break. But when you come back, it is exam. And like for maths, it'll be your KCPE, but answer,
names,
without ABCD.
Oh,
so it's you show your workings and whatever.
Okay.
And then from there you keep.
Oh, nice.
Other than number lines.
And I know actually, because I also joined high school the same time actually, interestingly.
Yeah.
Or I finished my KCP. Maybe I finished my KCP in 2002. You joined Form 1 in 2002, right?
Yes, so I cleared.
So,
yeah.
So maybe I joined in 2000.
Yeah.
Now even I'm confused.
Okay.
But you join Form 1, 2 weeks later or even 1 week, you go for midterm.
Yes.
So it's not like you're studying anything much.
Yes.
It's just you've joined, you've settled in.
It was just number lines, formats, or just some definitions and things like that. Only, yeah.
And then you come and do an exam that is, you have to write your answers, contemplate what those answers are. So what if you flop?
Even if you flop, it's when
nothing
you're just
much.
starting.
You've already joined the
so,
Kamusinga.
so for us, I was position 1 that first term, Form 1. But after that, till the very end, ni hapa ndo tuko. Because there wasn't much. So it was just like for maths, you're for sure you're going to do your high classes 8 paper that you did.
Yes.
The other bits, they're just either some definitions here, some things there. So even replicate it is just that. But now after that, it got crazy. And then for me, some bit of turning point. So I was like either from position 1, I went to like 7. Fine, I still kept around top 10 or top 20. But now when after Form 1, I joined drama, but drama is quite heavy for us because there is a lot of now the cramming, the scripts and whatever, and then trainings you do till late. So when guys go to sleep is when you go train till about either midnight or 11. And then in the morning you'll also, over lunch hour break, you do some training before 2. So mostly at times in class, the fatigue or whatever, you could find yourself dozing or things like that. And then let's say you've gone for a funky and you come back, you need to do the paper. So I dropped quite a bit the the balancing and all. And then over Christmas holidays, I'd lost all my books for Form 1. So while traveling, my home is in Busia. So I was born and bred in Bungoma.
Okay.
Went to school in Friends School Kamsinga, but my parents, our home is in Busia.
Okay.
A place called Mundika.
Okay. So schooling on in these other places where your parents used to work.
Yes. Before mom retired. So after retiring, she went back home.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So over holidays, I could stay some bit with my brother and then go back to Busia.
Yeah.
So that time you have all your files, your notebooks and things like that because you'll have to revise and what. But now on my travel to Busia, in the swap between vehicles, I lost the box that was holding all my Form 1 books. So by Form 2, I had to start now afresh in a way. So you're coming to exams,
that must be traumatizing.
So I had 2 reasons why I failed, but now to your dad to say why I couldn't say it was drama that made me go back. So I was like, so you remember the books? I lost all the books. I had to.
But deep down, you know for sure, I'm doing a lot more drama.
Deep down for sure. Not like I would say drama was the cause, but at that time I hadn't gotten the balance. But after that, at least I got the hang of it, and
it was natural. It was natural. Which part do you like acting in this drama?
For me, I think there is a prof, and I think also Prof Nanda talked about him. He's called right now he's Dr. Chetambe. He's a really great writer, and he used to write narratives. He's really humorous, and the way he composes his pieces, but I think he knew I had some gift in portraying 2 sides of emotions. So he could put me a woye script that has a really it has both dimensions, a very happy side and a very sad side. So
at the same time. So like while acting, if it's stage, you look at people with emotions in the crying bit, you could see some people shed tears on the other side, and you're like, those beats were quite captivating for me. At least mostly on emotion side. If you could walk around emotions with people. I used to be a playwright. Story for another day. So I get the picture. So
even for solo verses, so because he gave me, I did lots of solo verses, and his solo verses had those dimensions. Yeah. But we were also big on narratives. But now I was more of the support. There were guys who were just dancing. Yeah. For we had really great narrators, so we were just giving them backup on the dancing bit. Yeah.
And that sounds like really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why you never thought, to some extent, maybe I want to do literature and pursue it really far? And you said, okay, I like zeros and ones more. What actually, like when we were joining friends, had you made up your mind, like, you know what, I'm doing this just to, like the way you do hobby, like something you really want to pursue at the end, but something you feel like you can do it confidently. But deep down, you know, maybe I'll do computer science at some point, or engineering, or electrical engineering, or something.
So for me, having stayed in a medical quarters, and then my mom is a nurse or whatever, I was geared towards doing medicine. So I knew I wanted to be a medical doctor. And that is what I wanted. But in hindsight, I think I had some other reasons why I wanted to do med. So it was like, you see, like most people would ask, I want to help people, you know, I want to do that. So I knew.
And you have that in you, Mathew, still. Whatever you do, you have that.
And that's what I'm saying. In the fullness of things, I'm still doing exactly whatever, because maybe at a later time in the podcast I'd come to that.
Yeah.
But initially I wanted to do medicine. I joined Friends School, and even till the time we were to complete, we were like, I'm to do medicine. But I enjoy acting.
Yeah.
I enjoy acting, I enjoy dancing.
Yeah.
So I'm in the arts space, the creative arts and whatever.
Yeah.
But even the literature, as you're saying, the literature, maths came naturally to me.
Like
so for me,
I
didn't struggle with maths. And even I really got great teachers of mathematics. There is a Mr. Soita in Friends School. He was really good. He would even sleep in class, but you now feel guilty of now sleeping in class, in a maths class. And so it came naturally to me.
Yeah.
So I would be geared towards a different side. But I also did computer studies in school, in high school.
Okay.
So it was my other bit that the other bit that I also loved doing. So there were great teachers. There is a Dr. Batoya now. He also transitioned did his PhD, but he was a great computer studies teacher. So I wanted to do medicine, but these other things, the art and whatever, it's what I just, I loved. It's funny, I loved the other side of Friends School more than the studies came naturally, but I enjoyed being on stage. Yes.
And also I've seen this even in most national schools that each national school is a champion in different extracurricular
activities.
And this is something actually that I've come to understand, because for me actually I chose, the only thing I would be interested in is drama, just drama, because it's not something that is involving, it's not extracurricular. And also I saw in the longevity, even if all goes haywire, there's nothing much I can, if I'm a runner, maybe I would go and win some marathon. But anything else looked, even today, you can't be a footballer here confidently thinking you'll play for I don't know what. You have like 2-3 guys who have gone to Arabian League, and there's no potential. But one thing that I've seen with the national schools is that there is something extra beyond education. And so for you, even if you're in high school, primary, it's better to be all way rounded. It helps a lot.
Sure.
So since you used to go to this drama, did you meet these fine girls, fine babes? Or for you just went there, acted, went back to school?
Yeah, we met. It was a great socializing event, so to speak.
Yeah. Nothing more.
Well, nothing more.
No letters afterwards. No girlfriends.
Definitely letters were there. I remember sometime receiving a really hot slap from Mr. Chetambe. Dr.
Okay.
Chetambe
I thought it's fine, babe.
No. Because like in drama, Friends school. I told you I was an official. By fourth form, I was the chairman. I was also a secretary, like that, for the drama club.
Yeah.
So there was a school called St. Bridget's, Kiminini. So it was kind of a girl school for the drama for us, because before we started the festivals, we used to go there, stage our plays there. So mostly it's maybe a Sunday that we go. But now it's not the festivals yet. But now you've taken boys to St. Bridget.
Of course, and boys.
So after the play and whatever, so let guys just, because they could sit down, socialize a bit and whatever. But on that particular day, the time for the socializing now for people. For me, I was fending for my team. I'm the chairman, but I'm like, I see the time they're like, you have to go back to school because we're having an exam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have to go back the same night, because it's not in the evening. It used to be an afternoon show, so we did the afternoon show, and after that, now you stay in the hall, and but now I was among the last people to get to the bus, because other people could get victimized. So I was like, if another person gets last, so I was like, I stayed slightly behind
as a leader
to take like the captain. Everyone gets on board before we began the last one. So at that time, I doubt if, because I didn't take really personally or whatever, so I received a really hot slap from the patron. Got to the bus. Immediately I felt really bad. We were going, but now to do that day, I remember we had a maths paper, and I knew we could ace it. Went back, but kind thing, he apologized, because after the paper we were now to do a postmortem of that day, and so in the meeting that we were having, I was like, no, it was just. But everything now went well.
It's not like I could not make it in time. It's just as a leader, it's not guys to socialize a bit.
Because what would the point be? These are boys, and you've taken them to
that's what actually excites them.
Yes, that was kind of the point. After the thing, give them some bit of time in a way. But I would also feel the other side, because maybe it was for us, maybe we were frustrating him, so you could look at both sides. It was at the heat of the moment, but he may not even really remember this, but for me it was an experience, a nice one.
It's because, man, I enjoyed going for these things.
Thank you.
Because we are
even at the nationals. But I have a slight, if at all, it's a person who was like getting way more fly ladies or whatever. Music festival could have more than drama festivals, because in drama all of you are competing on the same things, but in the music festivals there are way many categories of different things that
makes
the variety, you'll have lots more schools participating in this other than drama, because in drama it could be quite a few, especially at the local level, but in moving to nationals, it's normally a whole variety of the country.
Status girls. Alliance girls. I don't know. Alliance girls were good at what?
Even plays. At some point,
they participated very well. No, I never went to nationals, but there are a couple of schools that went there, and when you meet at provincial and stuff, you could always say, Stato girls. It was Stato girls. And they had some fly chicks and all that. Yeah, man. Anyways, and Patch was also well known because of the rugby and stuff like that.
Also drama, at some point they had quite some plays.
We had some ex-Patch student at the school awards. I wasn't in a national school though.
Okay.
So it was one of those schools. And at first actually I was a mixed school, and then went to boys' school. That's when I realized why it's exciting to go to these events, because you see in a mixed school you are seeing these ladies every day. You're all borders, so it's nothing big deal. But when you go to boys' school, you stay there for one term. You're like, man, what's happening next? Are we going to the scout in Nyeri?
There needs to be some
man. So it sounds fascinating. So for you, favorite subject was always math, because it came naturally.
Maths came naturally. Also computer studies.
Because it was basically makes a lot of sense.
in as much as I played maybe some bits of computer games here and there before joining, because when I came to friends school to stay with my brother, he had friends who a guy who was running a supermarket in Kimilili.
Okay.
So in the evenings, it was one of his friends. He had this old desktop at that time.
Yeah.
We were doing quite a bit of
gaming.
It fascinated me. And now when I joined friends school, I knew I wanted to go. In friends school, there were particular classes that could have the computing option. So I was like, even if I would be taken to another one, I would try force myself into a class that takes computer studies.
Which classes are these?
As we had now X, Y, Z at that time. So it was W and Z that could do computer studies.
Is that for top students or?
Not necessarily. So it's like a way of just balancing the meager resources in computing. So within those two classes, you could choose to do computers, not others. But even the people choosing, I really can't remember the cut-off sort of criteria at that point. But at least it was fixated to two of the classes. Yeah. But for me, I was lucky to have gotten to Z, the class Z. But as I was saying, since I knew how the system works, even if I wouldn't have gone to that class, I would have tried figure a way of going to the computing.
Yeah. It looks like computer studies for you was crazy, man. Because Nanda said he had to cry his way out, man. Like, if I'm not doing this computer studies...
Maybe for him, I think for him it was a different, Either we had different drives, but I'm glad he also did.
For you, just
the world is better because Nanda did it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you pursued through fourth form.
Yeah, till fourth form. And
you also ace it again.
Yes. At least for our school, as I tell you, the teacher of computer studies. There was a way, quite a number of people there. Those days, maybe the schools around and things like that. Yeah. It's like, these guys were getting either leakage or something like that. Just to demystify that, as I was saying, if at all you're having creme de la creme of a particular thing, and then you've been conditioned to, like, you've revised all the papers of computing since they started coming. Yes. And those are the questions that come in these cuts that you're doing almost. Because you see, as I was saying, in Form 3, you're doing everything from Form 1.
Yes.
But in Form 4, every cut, and you're not given time to... So you just need to
get out of that.
Yeah, even at midnight, they could bring the paper, you do it minus much struggle in a way.
Yeah.
So... it's kind of conditioned, but still at that time I wanted to do medicine. Yeah, in as much as I'm doing this, I know I'll be good in bio, chem, and what. I still wanted to go to.
That medicine. Is by the time you're sitting for KCSE.
Yeah, by the way, there is a friend called Marvin Olayo. He's an engineer at KQ right now. So there are those auto books that you sign after high school. So I was like, let's meet at Chiromo doing MBCHB. We still joke till now. He's a great engineer heading some division in KQ.
You're here, doctor, training more engineers.
But yeah, so still at that point we wanted to do.
By the time you were doing KCSE?
Yeah, I knew we are going to Chiromo.
Wait a minute, you get your A?
Yeah, I got.
What changes? Or job happens?
So job happens. So,
and you don't have options here. You're like.
So at this point in time, so after high school, I go back home to Busia. But I was pained. I went to teach after high school. But maybe before the teaching maybe story, I got the A. But now in terms of reading, Chetamba used to tell us, please read any book. Just read. Read English and all that. Keep reading. Read.
After reading, read more.
Pick any newspaper. It'll open your mind and all that.
Yes.
So when I was doing, I remember it was literature.
Yeah.
We were doing our exams from the hall. The way we were working, it was like you do a particular paper, you can almost tell how how you're faring on even as you're doing. You can almost tell, you're looking at the medicine Jirobo when you're doing KCSE. It's like, I'm getting there or something. And then this literature comes. It's the day we used to do literature, it was chemistry paper 1, chemistry paper 2, and literature in the afternoon.
Yes.
So in the morning, you've hit your paper 1, paper 2. The confidence levels are good.
Yes.
We're going to ask this. And then the afternoon comes. It used to be a really packed day for even guys in French school. They could know that day. Man, I'm looking at the paper before I start even answering, and I'm like, now, because you've already done paper 1, the 2 papers for English, it's only remaining literature. So once it gets, you could tell how it is overall you're doing. But this time I knew it's at this point that I knew.
It's not gonna be that easy. And medicine you can miss actually with 0.5.
So it was such things. I was looking at this. The index, I was index 7, so because it's at the stage of the hall. So it's quite big.
Just at the
afternoon, the afternoon is quite hot. So
were you arranged by column or rows?
It's columns though. It's columns. So index 1, 2, 3, 4 like that till the very back, and then like that. So you're quite.
I can only feel for the last guy because man, you're all the way back.
But at least the back, you're not closer to the roof in a way. So, because at the front, you're on the stage.
Okay.
So it's way closer to the roof in a way. But
okay.
Yeah. I was looking at the roof. I'm trying to. How is this? That is when you remember the lecturer telling you, please read and
keep reading.
Keep reading.
So you're not an avid reader.
Generally, I could, but it's not like I gave it my really all. So I got a B+ in English.
That messed the whole.
So I got a B+ in English, and I was like, I've gotten an A. It was an A of 81 points. I knew somehow you could, but for your N at that time it was either your N or Moi that were given.
And UN
for me, I knew I was just to go. I wanted to go to your N. So I counted my losses.
So even before the job happens, you knew.
So
sure
you see, I had to go. I had to go rework my choices. Because that time there were revisions. The revisions, but now I had to go. You're going to the provincial head to do the revision for that. So I went and now looked at my options. I knew this was my other. I was good in computing and whatever. In as much as there were only 30 people that Chiromo would pick, at least this one I would ace it. So I went and revised to computer science as the first choice.
So the letter came. The offer letter came
for computer science. Because at that time. And a funny thing, my late dad now, he couldn't, for him, he also, I think either the pride of parents and whatever, he knew his son got an A. And you're saying he can't go take medicine. He was like, I'm going to take a hunger strike, or I don't know, I'm going to walk to Nairobi, to the Ministry of Health, and they demand why my son hasn't gotten to med. But I was trying to explain to him, computer science is good.
And being the last one, of course.
The Lord rest his soul in peace. I just wish maybe you'd be alive to
see how much you've done.
It's a different, but no love lost, so to speak. It was quite some experience. But in hindsight, I was saying, partly I wanted to do med. It was a good chunk was to help alleviate pain that is quite there. But the other bit at that time it was kind of a sure bet for job. Because unlike any other courses, after going for internship, the government was blessing you. So medicine and pharmacy had some sort of direct placement then. Most of this other engineering, you had to be the best at your beat.
Field,
there was a way to slightly, it wasn't a sure bet, so to speak. But med and pharmacy, So for me, in hindsight, it was this. This was the reason, not really saying the help. Fine, the helping is, but an actual thing.
At least there's sustainability.
Yes. At least you won't struggle so much, because I'm a guy. Even till now, even I may not call myself an entrepreneur, so to speak. I need some sort of safety at a personal level.
Yeah.
For you to think about now these other things, at least the basic minimum could be there to sustain before you thinking. Unlike the guys who are purely entrepreneurial, the risk appetite, or they're more, they're not risk averse. Yes.
And what would you attribute this safetiness to? Is it like your upbringing? Is it, you're the last born?
Fine, for me, the last born, I quite a number of people may not associate me maybe with last born. I don't know.
True. Until now, I never knew you were last born. Yeah.
Not many people maybe normally attribute that. So for me, my whole life, the last born thing, at least even in our family, I normally just hear stories of I don't know how other last born cells were, and I guess it's quite different.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's their upbringing or it's just maybe looking back. I don't know whether it's just a personal trait in you that either playing safe, getting just some safe thing before. I could be other risks. You could be teaching guys entrepreneurship, but I could be a good employee, I guess, or do this and this. It doesn't come naturally. Maybe the way maths came naturally to me. For other people, either entrepreneurship comes really naturally to them. But for me, at least, it's something I work towards. So the safety bit, at least, and I guess that is how maybe I'm a lecturer. Or I went into academia. Or I looking back, I could attribute it. There could be either some bit of this and then now try serve the world in a way.
No, interesting. I was almost telling you calculated your way in life. Being a mathematician, you did all the proportions, the probabilities. You found out that I need like a 7% of a surety that I can't miss the rent, means of transport is there, and now I can now pursue these other 3%. Can I try entrepreneurship? But looking at what you are doing, and we'll get there, it's more than that. So you come to the School of Computing, one and the only, and actually it has been the only. It was the only for some time until there are more chartered universities, private and otherwise. And by then I think it was the most of the only one actually. Or there was one in Moi, maybe. I'm not sure, but it was one of the outstanding, I would say, computer science. And it used to take only 30. 30 students. That's it. So you get there, you meet the who is who. Guys, for those who don't know, by the way, if you join this, right now it might not be true, but when you used to join these high demand courses, you think you're smart, and then you meet now the smart ones. You're like, okay, what is happening? And then there are people who are not so smart in high school. They get to university, even in primary school. They get to the high school, and it's like now they get serious. You're like, because I know the high school I was in that I joined in Form 3. There was this guy, and I used to hear his stories. He was, I think, second last in Form 1 until I think Term 2. Term 3, he is number 2. Term 1, Form 2 is number 1. Shock of the day, and it was like 100 student plus. And guys thought that maybe this guy is lucky. Guess what? No one beats this guy until Form 4. He's now a pharmacist. And I think one of these fine day, I'll get him there. And he'll give us a secret. Because for him, actually, he never struggled for any subject. And he was a guy who will find in all the things that you think are wrong in high school. So you come to Chiromo, you meet guys from Surrey, the guys who actually don't go to Stanford or MIT or Princeton, they go to the University of Nairobi. Now you can tell how smart these guys are. And then Chiromo had this thing where the lecturers were from Yale. Rest in peace, Professor Odongo Kelo. We have people like Dr. Nganga from the University of Helsinki. And the list goes on. there is Mwema from Oxford University, still there, Professor Mwema. And the list actually is quite, the caliber is amazing. You get there are smart lecturers and they're smart kids who have come to be Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates. You know, when you go to the computer science, I think at the back of your mind, that's when you realize, oh man, this is what I want to be. For you, how was it like? Because now, of course, for you, the shocker was just before you joined the university.
Because for me, maybe if we could just slightly before the university, I think there is a period that also shaped a good chunk of who I am in a way.
Yes.
Or the choices now I took afterwards.
Yeah.
At Friends School Kamsinga, it was a provincial school then.
Yeah.
So our provincial schools are these quarters. The way national schools would pick a majority, 75% from its province, and then the rest of the country would get...
For diversity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Provincial school would pick also much from the district where it was placed, and then a few from the others.
Yeah.
So my home county is Busia County.
Yeah.
So at that time, it was a Busia district.
Yeah.
We have amazing people, very brilliant people in all forms, whether it's in academics or in co-curricular.
Yeah.
So it used to really pain me. At Friends School, top 10, there are quite a number of guys from Busia.
Yeah.
In basketball, great guys from Busia. Hockey. But now you go back home, like the whole Busia district, just Friends School Kamsinga, or even just Kibabi, and one school in Bungoma County has taken more people to the university than the whole district. So that thing, it meant something. So there were very few high schools within Busia.
Yeah.
At that time...
Right now, is there a school that we can attribute to Busia?
Quite a number. Even that time, there was one called Butula. It was the one that was now performing. There was a guy called Maseno. Maybe you may have known him from in SCIP. He was coming from Butula.
Yeah, I know Maseno.
Maseno,
I think
so he's from
either same class with Nanda or...
Yeah, he was in the same class with Nanda. So in Busia, there were fewer guys in high school. And then, as I told you, for me, passing was more of a culture thing. But something that happened between, I think, either 2003 and 2005 or 6, 7, quite a number of the primary schools used to start a high school within it. So they donate one class to be a high school. So the transition rate from primary to high school in Busia was really low. So I went to a school, just a village school in my village called Budokomi. I was a senior master in that school, straight from high school. So the school, the principal is the primary principal. The deputy is a person who had done a degree, not teaching, a degree in biology. Most of us are just straight from high school, but to come to kind of give back to. So at that time, they had gone up to Form 3. So they had started, but it has grown to Form 3. At that time, so straight, I did my KCSE in November. In January, I'm a teacher. But you're a senior master in that school. So you can imagine the school. It doesn't have resources, lab, you're teaching almost all subjects, even those that I dropped in Form 2. CRE, business studies, I dropped in Form 2.
You're also going and learning and teaching.
Yes, you're teaching them and all that. And, you know, you're teaching chemistry, you're just telling, just know there is a test tube, it's drawn like this. When this leaf, it'll turn blue-black. And so...
Just the basics.
So you can imagine, and... That is where now the education system, you're expecting that person to also sit the same KCSE
with someone who's doing exams every day.
From Kamsinga. And you're expecting them to pass at the same rate. Definitely it doesn't.
So we are judging
a fish on how to climb, I don't know, a tree or something like that. But for me, there were a good chunk of energetic young men who gave it now their all. We taught these students, and a good chunk of them, you know, there is a person who went now to the university, straight to the university. Those days it was B+. For JAB. Right now C+. You know, I see people getting the C+, and they're like, I know a person who, in that humble beginnings or less resources, they could still manage the B+, and go to uni. So it was my most fulfilling time. Even till now, the 2 years that I spent before joining uni teaching, because you're teaching almost every subject. At 8, you go back to the house, you know, we're riding bikes, you work back home. At 8, you're just
so exhausted.
You're just, after dinner, you're seated on and you just switch off and you're gone. You're sleeping. You wouldn't like feel yourself.
Yeah.
But I look at the people who now came out of that time, and even now I was now scripting for them drama, because the first year I couldn't do drama. I went to a different school, but they did. Music festival is cheap.
Yes.
Set piece, poems, nini. But now they could go till provincial schools. You could see the esteem, just the self-esteem, because there are now these big schools in that they have buses and all.
They realize these are just normal kids.
And then, so you see, even in funkies, there are particular schools who normally fear. It's like, maybe in other schools, you're coming from a village school and you really don't believe in yourself. There is French school Kamsinga or Alliance or whatever. You don't really believe in yourself.
Yeah.
But that year when they beat now these provincial schools from Busia that have buses and whatever, it was the first time they hired a van to take them to a different school.
Wow.
What it made them feel, even the whole village, it's like, guys are, they're moving from their village to another county for provincials.
Yeah.
It really gave them their psyche. The second year, I wrote a verse and a narrative.
Yeah.
But now, because I'm the one who really even painted the backdrops, I did all that. And the setting was a school, so we didn't really need costume or whatever. So their uniforms in drama was also part of the thing. So to make it cheap, they also went now to provincials, and that time the provincials were in French school Kamsinga.
Wow.
So you see, it was like a motivation. The way guys like French school were going to Alliance for the cross.
Yeah.
But for this, what it just did to them, moving from there to a French school Kamsinga, trying to see that coming back after that, just the psyche and the belief in themselves, way out of this world. Till now, it has really grown. Right now, with support, even now the number of schools now in Busia that have started in that way, the transition rate now increased, and I'm glad. I'm glad. So I think the fulfillment from that, at some point, it now drew me towards academia in a way. So
even when we're joining computing,
one way or another, it would either come back
because you could see the impact that.
Yes, at least at a personal level, I felt fulfilled. I've never been fulfilled like those 2 years that I did at Budokomi. It had a huge impact. So I came to your end, Chiromo, did the computer science, as you're saying. You're meeting this amazing really and very smart guys. In our class, you could tell guys, even guys from the very villages and whatever, they're doing amazing. The person getting a computer for the first time there, and he beats you hands down.
Me, I got it in second year. My classmate can speak for themselves. Second year, Kaka, second semester. But you come to computing, and this is maybe something that people don't really share a lot. Even I think I forgot to ask Nanda. Tell them this experience of the first semester. You are taught what you know your entire, is it 12 years within a month. And then discrete math is introduced to you, and it's tested.
For you, who was Abung is
still there, teaching electrical engineering. All the engineering they learned their discrete from Abung. Yes, we did our Africa Stocking Summit last year at the University of Nairobi, and I checked around. We had this conversation with some engineering students, and I asked them, who is teaching you discrete? Abung.
Prof.
Yes.
Abungu.
Yes. And this guy teaches using notes.
Yes.
And he tells you that this is one discrete math book that is at Chiromo Library. Last time I checked, it's at Chiromo Library. It's one. You just go and borrow it for one day. Be kind enough to bring back. But pay more attention to page this. You go there. You'll find the book, yes, but you'll not find the page. I don't know if that was your experience.
At least they're quite a bit for me. For me, discrete, as I told you, maths was quite straightforward for me. So discrete wasn't much of a problem. Calculus, he was the same who taught calculus and discrete.
Now we were taught by another guy. Yes. This is also another fascinating guy.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. He was a doctor, brown-looking guy, with suits and whatever. But this guy was fascinating, man. He didn't carry a book.
You could do the differentiation.
You're like, dude, where is all this knowledge coming from? Like, there's someone who can learn from, and you're like, man, these are all different level of knowledge. But go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, the discrete, it's funny. Yeah. All of it is maths, but I think I'm the logical guy, because for me, maybe this other calculus wasn't much of the logical.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I normally used to wonder, I could almost tell I would get the A in discrete and not in calculus. I was slightly, I needed to work quite a bit on the calculus.
Yes.
But the grades were the other way around.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, so I was like, I wanted to meet Abungu and ask him, by the way, you switched, since you're the one taking the both of them, did you switch the two? Or because for discrete was quite straightforward to me compared to this. That's
how it makes it look, but it's not. The reason I knew why it's not straightforward. I did more. Like I went to YouTube and checked out discrete math from MIT and Stanford videos. They put those videos.
Yeah, sure.
I was like, man, this dude is making very complex things look simple. But they're not.
They're not simple.
Because as this dude will explain one theorem. Because this is about understanding how computers work and how they come up with these things faster, right? And then I see, how the MIT do the math, and then they pull the board, like 3-4 boards, one theory. And Abunga is here with his notes. Guys, nothing much. This is what your cat will. Because you could give you like 2 questions, accounting for like 30%. So calculus was the one that you failed. you passed, and the other one you failed.
I see. Not failed, because it was an A and a B. So I could think not failing, but I was just like the 2 grades could be switched. I felt this other one, I worked quite harder at it to get that. But this other one, it was even from the cards and whatever, because I got, I don't know, a 28 in discrete out of the 30 or something like that. So I was like, and the exams, But the interesting people in SCI.
Now it's a department. I don't know why they supposed to remain a school. I feel like it grow more. Actually, even they should. But anyway, as the smart people look at things. I was even to have some podcasts. Maybe I should and try to exchange knowledge and try to expound on modern knowledge-based society, which is actually one of the courses of the computing, and the impact it has on kind of solution we want to see, because we're living in a digital world.
Sure.
And I feel that school actually could grow enormous. Like every department in every school actually should have a computing element in it. And School of Computing actually should lead that.
By the way, it could be that, but I think the strategy that your N had, for me, it was, like other universities at that time, it was the only computing related course. It was the only computing related course, but one, computer science. It's not like there is software engineering. I don't know. Like KU or JQuad, they could have electronics and computer engineering. I don't know, software engineering. There was mixing quite a bit. For your N, at undergrad, we only had computer science.
That's it.
At year 2, you would get a diploma.
If you want to leave, please,
you can
by all
leave.
means.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was another good thing that I think it was
going deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a thing that you see the people like currently you find somebody struggle and at year 2 maybe because of one reason or another he couldn't proceed.
Yeah.
You could at least have a fallback of the diploma or something.
Yeah.
But also at year 4 get your degree.
Yeah.
But for me, at master's level, they have quite a number of programs, and they were even doing entry exams. Because now it had attracted a lot more than they could. But now you'll find other universities, you're trying to either water down the computer science into different versions and things like that
to attract
different people. So maybe it was a strategy for your end or something like that. But I hear you.
But no, actually, I share in the sentiment because I'm a believer of going deeper and because there's so much.
Sure.
But also, I'm looking at the modern world day education, right? And the impact of this different education. All I'm saying is that, and I think we can have this conversation with all the professors there at some point, because also, there's more discussion there.
Sure.
Is that computing as it is at the University of Nairobi, it's worth to be looked at. Even these other universities actually can learn one or two things.
Sure.
Not only that, but even other departments.
Within the university. Sure.
Yes. Because you look at even the guys who come out of that, even if there are few graduate really and do like upper class and stuff, there's something I feel like if other guys actually could, and School of Computing could offer that as something that they say, okay, this is what you are offering, for I don't know if it's for pay or for something, but now it could actually even change the dynamics of how we look at things, or open an industry.
I see.
Because even the projects that actually people do at a graduate level, master's level, top notch. So that's that. But of course, within a school there are so many handles, as I know. I'm not so familiar. Shortly, I worked at the University of Nairobi, but we'll get there. There are so many handles, and of course, you don't just come up with. However innovative they are, they have. The Senate has to sit down and say, this is it. We agree. Let's go. So you join first year. Your experience is good, and you meet smart guys. Do you really catch up in terms of performance and keep track until the end, or how was it for you?
At least in terms of performance, I thank God. I thank God. I had an amazing time. Met great friendships. As you're saying, really amazing and guys. Smart people.
Shout out to all the
to all the guys. Class of 2011. We graduated 2011. But great guys doing amazing stuff. Guys could do
movers and shakers all over the world.
Even right now, all over the world, so to speak.
I was
so at least for me, I thank God. I really maybe didn't really drift quite much, and then thanks to even projects that were there pushed by the faculty, Prof Egessa, nowadays Prof Orwa. There were quite a number. There was Nokia Research Lab, so quite a bit of the projects that were there. We were fortunate enough to be part of the groups that at least
get some side gigs.
No, so that one was even a structured side gig for the project. So there was a project by Nokia Research Lab and a number of, now at second year we did one of the groups, but a number of second years, third years on that, building a particular pilot or proof of concept. There was another, so even from the Nokia, there were quite a number of projects that now students are doing, and you could, there was actual just payment from it. And
nice.
in school at that time, it was quite something. And also just the experience in working in teams and building solutions at that particular time. And then quite a number went to, because at that time is when Facebook was also the accounts. So a good chunk went to Stanford. There was some bit of exchange at that time. A number Google was taking some interns at that, Google Africa at that time. So it was quite some good experience, and you could see what the value that maybe the school was providing, or quite a number of faculty who had those projects and things like that.
And I don't know, did you meet, now is that Dr. Royo?
Royo, yes.
He taught you HCI?
Mostly there was system analysis and design, and also he was mostly teaching.
What was your experience? Because I have very funny experience. I don't know, man. Like
I would love to hear yours.
Rio is a monotone guy. He speaks in some decibels that don't increase or reduce. So, man, I could not make it 10 minutes into it.
It is.
It sounded like lullaby. 10 minutes, I'm like feeling so dizzy. So I had to. How I hacked that course is I had to go and do my own personal reading and research and all that. But man, that guy could speak in a very. I the reason why I remember him specifically is because the other day I don't know who I was talking. Oh no, the event we had at the Sote Hub. Yeah, for some reason while presenting, I remembered him, and what I was trying to put across is that regardless of the knowledge you get, please find a way of getting more. If really it's something fast, because you see HCI/CDs are very important, especially in the modern day technology. Because if you build something and it's not usable, it's not palatable, it's not something that someone could really hone, then you have missed the point.
Sure.
And here we have a lecturer who is super smart, but delivery. Man, I know you're a lecturer and you know there are those lecturers.
I understand. I think for me, at a personal level, I think this is what I consider myself. I think I'm a very considerate person. Or I'm either quite slow to, because this may not be anger, slow to, I accommodate, I'm quite patient.
Yeah.
And I think either the teaching experience at Budokomi gave a bit of that to me. Yeah. Even when we are disagreeing with people, I could be quite either accommodative or patient to try hear your whatever.
Your reasoning, yeah.
And then I guess, I don't know if there was any connection then, but much later, whatever he did in his PhD and whatever it is I did, there are particular theories that now even during my PhD, I went to him, he was kind enough to give me his PhD thesis. We were working on the same theory. So
man, I need to meet him once more. I tell him.
It was good, but I would wish it would be maybe this way or that way. Yeah, I feel you.
So for you, it didn't feel like it was.
Maybe my personality. Maybe trying to.
Maybe I'm the one who processed how he presented this in a monotone.
Maybe.
And actually, it's good because nowadays I'm going back there to visit and also introduce some of the community aspect as well as talk about the knowledge and stuff with the student. If I bump to him or any other person, because I find. And it's the way life is.
Sure.
You'll meet people who you find them certain way. By that time, you might not be able to tell them or give them feedback, or maybe
but
even
at least feedback is good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
it could be. Maybe there could be another MK there.
Yeah,
at the moment.
Sure.
Or,
yeah. But I didn't do that bad. But I could do more.
I see.
Yes. So, there are a couple of lecturers. How did you find Okello, by the way, professor, the late?
That was interesting.
Yeah, assembly language.
Prof was, there are those people who are, you're calling smart people, and he had, for me, he was also very soft-spoken, but the delivery, there are lots of technical stuff that he's delivering. He's delivering there. But
that needs more investigation and internalizing.
A lot of thought process.
Because even for him, he really used books and slides.
Yeah.
Slides, he could send them. You find time, you read them. But when he comes there, he breaks down assembly language like it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of stuff. Yeah, man. The UON, big up. SEI, man. It's crazy. It's really good. So, what are some interesting aspects towards the end of the or even what did you build second year project? So,
for second year, funny enough, it was a that time it was meant to be a solo project, but at that time we did 2 people, 1 project. So that's how. Okay. So there is Eric Ngei.
I know Ngei.
He was my roommate in first year, and then in second year there was a project we were calling it. Was it IVR? Yes, it was an IVR. So at that time the technology wasn't really much there like it is right now. So like the
was
voice.
it about virtual reality or voice?
No. Yeah. It was a voice. You're recording like the press 1 to. So it's interactive voice response. Whatever you'll call Safaricom and press 1 for this and then 2 for that. At that time it wasn't, because that was 2009. It wasn't that much there. So we built a solution for a doctor and it had now the IVR component. So the patients could. So I was working on the IVR side and then he worked on the doctor's system because it had, Dr. Oro was a supervisor prof now. So there were those 2 components. And by that time, there used to be those, it was the most innovative at that time. They used to call it Science Fest or something. We used to have Nucomsa could organize all the projects the last year, either the last Nini, and then you demonstrate. And then there used to be a dinner after that. So at second years, we were invited here. We were invited to the 4th year's dinner at, that time it was Intercon, I think, Songay, big up. So that was what it is we did at second year. At 4th year, Dr. Nganga was my supervisor. I did an application for fish farmers. So I think this fishing thing, looking back, things started because coming from Busia, fish is a staple food, and that time there was they used to call it economic stimulus program. So the government had pumped quite a bit of money to fish farmers within Busia. So I was working with the fisheries officer in Busia. Picking. So at that time, I think the way technology moves. That time mobile, you had to code a mobi.mobi and then there was the actual web app. And then now Google Maps at that time. So it was also, you could either some recommender algorithm for get maps where if at all you're a trader and a fish farmer, when the things. So that is what the application for I did in 4th year. Then.
Interesting, man. Like you did some amazing. You know, when you talked about IVR now, Africa's Talking Voice came into mind, man. I'm like, even Africa's Talking
you see now, much. Come to think about it, now there are technologies that are actually doing that. But at that time, because it was on Linux, we built quite a number of either some open source stuff that we were trying to reconfigure to and then record it. So at that time, record, get some people to do the voice records, and then now if at all they press a particular beat, it goes to another and all that.
Man, and did it cross your mind that you can pursue these projects later on, like and build something of value out of them?
It may or may not have, and the bit that I told you, for me, maybe entrepreneurship doesn't come as a first. It's not in. Another person could look at it in many other different ways and really push and pursue it in, like maybe that. Because we called it Tunganisha, it was like a way. At that time, maybe before this, the e-commerces and linking either farmers and traders or things like that. Because that time it was quite a bit. Had we pursued it maybe as a startup then and had that push to take it places, I think we would have done. So it may have occurred, but maybe I didn't have it in me to, or either the ecosystem or pushing it in along that direction. Then
And in both your projects, you passed really well. Huh? You got the maximum you could, because they account for like 4 units.
Because one was like, it was quite a lot. The second year one was 2. This other one was about either 6 or I don't know, something like that. I think for at that time the curriculum, I guess it was about either 6 or so. I think so.
Okay, now I think they do 4. They used to when by the time I was doing it was 4.
Okay, 4. For us, second year was like 2. This other one was a lot more.
Yeah, I'm a more practical guy.
But a funny thing is, I don't know whether for you also the experience during presentation at the final, the things just during the presentation there is a particular beat, the beat that just you've stayed overnight doing a particular thing,
and you break
you just break the chord in a way, and that's where it was working. Even I demonstrated it yesterday to
the supervisor,
and
and then the supervisor doesn't want to be on your side to look like, you know what.
I don't know if you had any of such experience.
I did, but I found out. For me, packaging things is not the biggest challenge in my life. Okay. You could give me anything and I could package it to be palatable. Because I also realize people don't care about the tech so much, the practicality of it. They care of the solution or the impact. So if you really package that really well and even if you demonstrate the practicality of it up to 70%, still good.
How I wish that message should go to very many engineers. Yeah. I don't know if they get it, because quite a number of the engineers are fascinated with the tech, and maybe that's where the other computer science or whatever. It's like, oh man, I stayed hours of code and all that, and you see, this is what. But at least on the ground, for the layman or whoever, it's what that enables him to do. So the features that they'll be interested in may not be the one that you spent months and years to. So that is a message you should take to more and more.
Yeah, and this reminds me, there's another course, I think it's called OP, if I remember. Taught by Pauline. I think Pauline was your classmate or something.
She was about either 2 or 3 years ahead.
Yeah, she taught us some OOP. And there's this project she said we make. And then I used to do a lot of things outside school, and because I did stay at the school. So I went and got an open source project. It was a chat. Then chat was not a big deal. Even message, the Facebook message was broken, which was the initial chat. WhatsApp was not really up there. And given it's an open source, you have the open source code. So I tweaked it, because at the end of the day, we needed a project to present.
Yes.
And when I presented, it was too good to be true to her. She was like, "Where did you get this one?" I said, it's open source. Not like I built it from scratch, because building a message, it's chat message is quite complex for 3 months or 4 months, one person. And I think she wasn't satisfied with that for some reason. But ideally for me, I was like, wow, maybe I'm ahead of my time.
Sure.
And then eventually, actually, open source became big to an extent that Open Data said every government should adopt to open source and open data, right? I know, of course, open data is not the same as open source, but of course, getting something that actually works and adopting it to serve the purpose is something else that people ignore a lot.
Sure.
And they want to reinvent the wheel every time, right? And I can assure you, all the tech that you see, everything that you see, including mobile phones, did not start with those specific guys. It's eventual growth and additions. I thought I should say that it's very, very important.
Sure.
So you haste it again. You get your get your second upper, or you get your first class?
It was a second upper.
That's amazing, man. Getting second upper at School of Communities, you can count the guys who get it. There's something actually I wanted to talk about the SCI guys. So this time I was crossing Tanzanian border for the first time at Holo Holo. I think it was Tanga. And I think I wasn't vaccinated for the yellow fever. Is it called yellow fever? The yellow card that you're given for 10 years. And, I had someone also who was not, but they were not qualified to be vaccinated. And this guy who I go to, he says, "Oh, you look young. Where are you from?" They try to know me. I'm like, "No, I've just graduated from the University of Nairobi doing computer science." "Oh, you did computer science?" "Where? Chiromo?" "Yeah, Chiromo. You know Dr. Muturi?" "Oh, no, Christopher Muturi." "Yeah, he's still there." "Yeah." Man, we became very good friends. And like, man, I was from there. I work for the immigration, whatever, and I'm posted here. Make sure because of biometrics and all that kind of stuff. And it shows me. And then there's this other guy that actually Christopher Moturi introduced me to from Microsoft. So he was, I think, a Kenyan Indian or Kenyan of Indian descent, and he schooled at School of Computing some time back, and he went to live in San Francisco, some place in I think Seattle or something. So he used to be a partner, a Microsoft partner or something. So he used to work with Microsoft. They're the guys who, when you are, Windows OS is broken, you see those patches, you have to download this patch, and then once you install it, works. So they do. And funny thing I remember about this guy is that I wish I meet him again and do a podcast. Then a podcast was so he had written code, so there's a way his body had conformed to that. So he didn't have some hair, some part of his head, and then here he had carved. But he was a really good engineer, just to say the least. And when I check out now that at least I interact with so many people, School of Computing has really represented very many talented guys.
There are lots of talented
across
guys
the world. Sure. And this brings me to after you are a computer science, you decided to go and do masters or?
Masters came slightly later. By then I wanted to do masters. As I told you, since I was I wanted to go the academia route. We could get into the graduate trainee program.
Yes.
By that time, I didn't get a first class. It would either be, because at that time, I think it's a conversation I had also with Christopher Mturi, who was the deputy director then.
Yeah.
But that year, the school didn't offer a graduate assistant role our year.
Yeah.
Because the following year, I think Nanda and there was the other gentleman, what was his name? The two joined as graduate assistants. Because it was like you join and then you could be sponsored.
Selina Chukut or?
Before Selina, there was one. Selina was from a different uni.
Oh, university, yeah.
But there was not Gunyali, Guraya.
Oh, Guraya, yeah, he went to Europe that
yes,
day.
Yes, so he came, went for... So it was... That was the path I would want to take. But you see, it was either a first class or the uni offering that. But at that year, they hadn't offered that. So at that time, I did a gig on web applications in Sync Media. In Sync Limited.
Solutions
Limited. Solutions Limited. And then while at that, we're building NSYNC was building the website for the judiciary.
Oh, I see how now you're... Because you see...
So the path turned into judiciary now. But you see, I was at NSYNC doing web applications for them. And then through Professor Waemwa, they wanted sort of attachees or interns at the judiciary. So that is how there was Helen Nyamuiru and there was some Omolo, who the three of us went to the judiciary. So there was an email.
So you're in the class of Omolo? Or?
I was in the class with Nyamuiru. Omolo was with Nanda, so Omolo was a class behind, and then I was with Helen. Kabir.
The reason why I asked you what you got at your Nini is because I know Omolo got first class.
Okay.
And he's with the judiciary.
Yes.
Also, Eric Ngei got...
Ngei got a first
class, yes. Right?
Yes. But him, I think, went either to Ernest Young, or it's Ernest and Young, or either he was at PwC or Ernest before moving to this other KCB.
Right now he's in KCB.
Should be the last I checked. KCB.
And to some extent, I feel like government gets all the best minds. But when it comes to seeing that,
because you see, crazy, like at the point. Government or even government or universities, there is a particular structure and way things are done.
And changing that is
that's why it's normally quite rough. Or you'll figure a way of navigating that space. Because why I say maybe quite a number of dots looking back they connect. At NSYNC we were doing just the judiciary, some bit of it. But now there is this professor, he's called Professor Joel Ngugi. He's now he's a Court of Appeal judge. There is a new dispensation in the judiciary. Dr. Willie Mutunga is now the Chief Justice. And then this professor applies. He was a professor in University, I think, of Washington. He applies to be a judge in Kenya. So that is a story you know later.
Yeah.
So he comes, he's in Machakos. He wonders what is happening with the judiciary, the culture and everything. So he sends an email to Professor Emma. From among the school, you could give us a bunch of guys who could help us do this.
Yeah.
So that is how Dr. Nganga, through our class, shares the info. And I think, so I reply to the email, and then Waema also forwards the same. And then the professor asked me, are you available to come to Machakos on so and so? You can just come and see exactly. Yeah. So that's how I go to Machakos. These other ones went to the judiciary in the Nairobi. Yeah. So I sit down with him, and that is another changing moment for me. The talk with this
guy from Washington.
This guy.
His thinking is quite different, right?
Not only just thinking, they're good people who mean well for this country. And despite the way the structures are or whatever, we could really blame the government or whatever. Yeah. But they're really good people who mean well within government and would want to make the best out of it. Yeah. They're among the people or a team that this is my view of things. I could be wrong, but it's a team that Dr. Willie Mutunga used to transform the judiciary. Because there were the think tanks coming up with, there was a strategic, so they used to call it a judiciary transformation framework. They built a framework to help the judiciary. At that time, judiciary almost had, I don't know, only a few ICT officers in the whole country. And for him, the way it was working, why not just have a simple database that could help digitize these processes and whatever? So there are things about, I don't know, lost files. The processes within the space were not remuneration for them. So there was lots of corruption and things like that at that point in time. So it was like, I'm here in Machakos. This is how the judiciary works. You can imagine a person coming from Ikuda. I think he mentioned that name. There's a place, one farthest corner of, I think, Kitui County. They have to come to Machakos just to ask where is my file, at what point, what is the status. But there is only maybe one matatu that comes all the way morning to Machakos. So if the status of the case, it's just to look at the file. But now you come, the people at the registry tracing just that file or whatever. So just the inefficiencies of that. But they did lots of stuff in even just transforming the remuneration of staff as the judiciary, and even how should I put it? The mindset. Because initially it was like judges were being feared. It's like you're in a hallway, a judge is appearing from the other side, people vanish. Maybe there were people along the corridors, but you could just find people vanishing along. So there were more. So they had that culture of only judges were going for these workshops and things like that. But during that judiciary transformation, it was everybody from the security guards, the cleaners, plus the judges. You intermingle. So for me, the humanness of looking at just people you're working with, irrespective of their stature. So the judges or the lower cadre, just treating them well and treating them as human. So that is another thing that shaped quite a bit, and the work ethic that the guy had, and he's a really brilliant mind. So within you look at the judgments that he's written within so he's moved. He was heading that judiciary transformation unit within the judiciary, and I'm glad he's now a Court of Appeal judge. I'm hoping in my lifetime at some point he becomes the Chief Justice of the Judiciary of Kenya.
That's Professor
Joel Ngugi.
Nice. I think I've heard his name a couple of times.
Yes.
In the corridors of justice. That's how they speak. The corridors of justice.
Let me not be slightly controversial because he was but this is my personal experience, with him, because he was among the least. Because at some point, some people had qualified to be Court of Appeal judges, but for a long time they weren't taken to. So it was, I think, when this regime came, they're the ones who
streamlined the whole process.
Who the former president had not assented to. It brought a push and shove. They didn't appoint a number of people to be Court of Appeal judges. But I'm glad they now are. But I'm sure they're doing amazing things for this country.
Very nice.
Yes.
And you served there for over 3 years.
Yes, because I joined at around 2012, thereabouts.
Yeah.
And then in 2015, that is now how I got back to the judiciary, to SEI.
Yeah.
Because at that point I had done. So I started doing my masters while at the judiciary.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether, let me call it politics. Some bit of politics within, because at that time there was quite some. The Chief Justice, it was all over the news, and there was a fight between either the Chief Justice, and so there was quite a bit of yes. And we were found either, we'll call it collateral damage,
stray bullets,
friendly fire, or collateral damage.
The guys who are closing all the loopholes.
Though it was a really great moment for me. Like maybe looking at maybe the way startups work or whatever.
Yeah.
When you're getting founders, in my view, even if you're getting maybe an engineer or something, it would be good to get somebody who's quite immersed himself within the space, that domain space.
Yeah.
And for me, that is what judiciary was new to me at that time. But I learned quite a lot, and I could get pain points for people.
Yes.
And even when I joined C4D much later, there was the Formalia, there was a time during either the second innovation week or something like that. I now managed to get into some justice fellowship. And it was from the ideas and the learnings and the pain points within judiciary.
So where is this fellowship was from?
There is it's called Hill Innovating Justice.
Okay.
So they normally run yearly
summit or events?
They have a summit. So they run a cohort of entrepreneurs within the justice, innovating within the justice space. So at some point there was some bit of entrepreneurship, and they were calling it family justice or something like that. Yeah. So that is how much later, looking back, you're like, had I not been in this space, I wouldn't have known this problem.
The intricacies of justice
or within the justice space. Yeah, but learned quite a bit, and it was an interesting time.
So you came back to C4D Lab, Computing for Development Lab. You will find me there, and you come as lead. Actually, when you were coming is when I was just actually leaving.
So you see, the story is the time I looked at the story with Nanda and whatever, I was like, so I was coming to replace Nanda. At that point, Nanda is jacking, and they needed somebody to either there was a project that Prof. Emma had, but it was trying to fix this number of things, and that is how
I'll find Nanda to tell the other story, because see, in that podcast he was a bit diplomatic. And even me, actually, I was on my way out because maybe so many people didn't know I was serving there as a volunteer. I did a lot of things, actually, as you had, sharing with Nanda. And that's actually the year we did our first innovation.
Because that is now how it is we met, and you really did an amazing job. By the way, come to think about it, and because a bit of the backstory, I got it from the podcast. But the meetings, and you're our secretary.
Yeah.
doing. I go through my emails and I still check we were part of the team together.
My email was shut off because I left. But of course, there are some of the emails that are on my personal email.
For me, most of it were the personal email ones.
Yeah, and it was crazy, man. Like, if that was the energy until today, and everyone could enjoy the results of what we did, man. But I'm happy that Innovation Week has become a thing in all the countries.
So you see, for me, you know the way you could. Not many people may give you the accolades. Not many people, but you go home sleeping nice. You're getting fulfilled because there is something. It may not be attributed to you.
Yes.
No one may.
No one cares.
No one may not really care, but for us who are down that route together, talking about bringing Soul Singer, I remember that time bringing it was Paul. I don't know, it was Paul Harris or there were quite a number of guys, and the amazing work that you're doing, because it's an almost how should I put it? Maybe the term has just
skipped my mind,
but I'll get back to it. But looking at what it reminds the judiciary. So developing at that time, the structures are not there. Very few people, because even graduates with computer-related bits within the judiciary now were quite few at that time. I'm glad right now that transformation document, they employed a huge chunk. They now focused on even application developers. So the need, and you now see there is electronic filing and whatever right now, and people are using it. It's
and
like
now the e-citizen.
Yes, you like lit some fire that now at least you contributed in the whole.
And do you know what actually that tells me when I think about all this? Because everyone I talk to, there's always this analogy that things can be done, things actually could get done, and things actually could be fixed. I don't know. It's just like by design. But sometimes you can't do too much. You can't do up to a certain level. You're like, you are limited at this point. And even using C4D scenario, when I look at it, is like the most successful startups that we ever hosted was just that year I was there, or 2 years I was there, or 1 year and 7 months. And even today, they are part of the ecosystem. We have talked with some of them, and you can go and watch how they shared and what they are doing, and how many people they have been able to employ. Because for me, I feel Africa as a whole, even not Kenya, we need more entrepreneurs, or we need more businesses that actually are growing, thriving, profitable, scaling. And that's why I was ready to go and help figure out how do we do that. And sometimes it's really hard because even, and big up by the way to people like Dr. Omwanza, Professor Waema, brilliant mind, no doubt, and even articulating issues, getting things moving. And these guys actually were a bit upfront with what is happening, and they knew how to navigate the structures. But even for them, given where they are in life and all that, I can understand why they cannot go up to a certain level. And you see, when you are really self-driven and focused, you really want things done, and you are ready to go all the way, right? And I wish, still I feel like there's a lot that needs to be done, no doubt. And even, generation after generation, we need to do more. And the reason is very simple. The world the way is changing, and the way things are happening. We always 10 to 15 years behind technology-wise. Regardless of what we think Kenya is. Imagine now other countries like Malawi, Benin, Togo, Swaziland, which is now Eswatini.
Yes, I did.
You're like, man, if we feel that and we're here and everyone is looking at Kenya, they're like, what? Kenya is way ahead. Then there's more that needs to be done.
Sure.
And maybe some of these guys will need that whatever you said, lighting that spark. So I leave you there at C4D, of course. And you are leading events, and how was that experience for you? Or also you are doing the master, so it was easier for you.
Because for me, I had already, by the time I was joining, I had already completed my master's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so by the time I was joining, I was already done with my master's.
Okay.
But the way the uni structure is, you see, now I was employed. You see, I was employed to be a programmer, senior ICT officer, senior programmer within the
change the look and feel
within ICT. So I was like on this other side on quote unquote secondment to C4D. So I'm reporting to the school because it was the school that was doing it. So I'm a senior.
School of Physical Science.
No, the School of Computing.
School of
Computing. Okay. So Professor Odongo was the one who was signing. So I'm employed the same way like maybe Nanda. Nanda is a graduate assistant, but working this other side on C4D because C4D was anchored within the school.
Yeah.
So I was also a senior programmer, but now working on this other side.
Yes.
But now, as I told you, for me, it was partly learning a lot, but I wanted to get into academia. Yeah. So it was maybe some slightly easier route too.
Yeah.
But now, within the academic institutions, you may find there could be some disconnect between academic staff and non-academic staff. So you may find you're here working with you're a senior programmer, but there is maybe a graduate assistant or tutorial fellow. Either your perks could be different. They're different. You could be doing way above whatever is on that, but whatever it is you're getting
doesn't match.
That. Yeah. Yes, it's not commensurate. So I was like, at that time is when there was a Garissa University attack. So I was like, I would apply to any university in Kenya except just Garissa at that time. I wanted to transition into, but at that time I started now my PhD.
Okay.
Yes.
Still at the university or
so at that time
else?
my thought process was university. The PhD was quite an expensive venture in my view.
Okay.
At that time you have to do it by research. So I was like, if at all I get funding to do that, I'll do it there. Because it would be more than a meal.
Oh, PhD costs that much?
It would be at SCI. So if at all somebody would pay that,
and I know guys spent 10 years doing that PhD.
Well and good. But if not, since it's still by research, I could still do it. Yes.
So when you do it by research means that the research funds the whole...
Not necessarily, because by research, for coursework, it's like you'll go to class and then maybe for some semesters or something like that, and then you come do the actual research. But by research alone, you actually don't go to class. So you'll be either defending the proposal, you're reading, you're working with your supervisors on a particular topic. So you see, by that, whether you're doing it this other side, it'll still be the same research, so to speak. In a different place, maybe it'll be slightly less. In another place, it'll be more. So that was my only bit. So I enrolled in Jaramogi, but they were really having great faculty. There is Professor Rodriguez. I don't know if you...
He's the one who went to start computing there.
I guess. So I went the other side.
That's one guy I didn't find there. I saw his... Actually, when I was joining, I saw his office.
His office there.
For me, actually, I visited the school and then joined. I saw
the Professor Anthony Rodriguez.
I think he was in a sabbatical. He was next to Christopher Muturi's office.
Yes. At least you remember those offices. So
and it's interesting.
So for me, it would be... I'm actually working there, but for me, I really, because I was the one coughing out my tuition, I wouldn't cough the
1 million.
But in a different place, I could do it. So because I knew I needed the PhD, I did it. Got a place with great faculty. And I'm grateful to God.
How long did it take you to do the PhD?
I registered in 2015 because now for this it'll be... I registered in 2015. I graduated 2020. But now it wasn't, because I now came this other side. There was some bit of gap, so it was like, if at all it was full time, I would have taken about 3 years. Less time, but.
But I know guys actually take a long time.
It could depend. There are some commitments here or there. So there are lots of dynamics by there. Within the academy.
Then you are grown up, you have a family.
So there, at some point, like 2015, after that, it was like, it's supposed I'm planning for a wedding the following year.
So they are particular. Almost the same time you planned for a wedding.
Yes. I remember it was But C4D was also, I really learned a lot, and what a hub or an incubation hub could do within a learning institution. So for me, it was a great model, and that is the drive or the visioning that I came with this other side. Because at least either for you and Nanda, you're big on the community, and you could, it comes easy for you, and you could patch up these other things. There are definitely problems within the academic structure, so to speak, navigating it and all. And it's the same challenges maybe I'm facing this other side. But at least so long as there is progress, for me that is even if it's just time, navigate and.
No, I mean, one thing I learned from the university, and I think I shared even when we had this chat with Nanda, is that any project can be done at the university. It's just that there are those, I think, more gatekeepers or, guys who are a bit experienced with the structure. And you never see them a lot. They know when they should show up. And when they show up, the show stops. And the only way we were able to navigate most of these things is through Professor M and, for Dr. Mwansa. Also used Professor Emma acumen in relation with Professor Mthew. That's the only way we were able to navigate, come up with a strategy, invite the DGs, get things moving, Innovation Week. And one thing I'm thankful about is when I hear 47 counties of this country exploring that model. And when even Dr. Mwansa through the Kenya do the Innovation Week, I see guys all over Africa coming for that, and I feel okay. It's not lost. It's because
for me, and how I normally look at it, in as much as maybe the structures here could not maybe work, or not work per se, but either they were slower than you would want, or the impact may not be as great, or it may not be taking the approach that you'd wish. I'm grateful he's now at a higher pedestal, so to speak, and they're now doing quite a lot in just sparking that. And he's the great guy in either convening and navigating the spaces, because he could be gifted in that. And for me, the period that he's served as the CEO of Kenya, there's quite a lot of activity and progress and building that ecosystem in a way. So I'm more hopeful. I'm more hopeful in the ecosystem, and I think it's better days to come.
For sure. So you serve there at C4D Lab, but of course as the lead programmer for the university for a couple of years, and apply for your PhD. But on the side, I think there are like 3 startups that you had, and I don't know what they do, but you can tell us. There is Mthew Solutions, which has been running since 2008, and then there is Formalia Limited, which started running 2016, still while at the university. Were these like consulting for software? Or?
So for the Mthew Technologies, it was now software. So much of either the gigs you'd get on whether it's web development or application or building, because at some point I built some fee management system for a school and things like that. So for that one, it has been either the Mthew Solutions, because starting second year, because it was around 2008. After first year, so most of the website, web application, software gigs, it was mostly as Mthew Technologies. And then, as I was talking about the Formalia, it was there was no doubt family justice solution. It was just an SMS platform, and thanks to the Africa's Talking. Because in both of them, the VUA and even we're doing quite a bit on the Africa's Talking. And for me, even the innovations, it's mostly the very simple things. I mostly even don't go for maybe much of the web apps and whatever. It's just solutions to exactly whatever it is. And in our resources, SMS for me works. You'll find most of my solutions are mostly
2G
just
solutions.
SMS based or things like that to get things done. Because the challenge at that time for the judiciary, having spent time the other side, so come 2016, there is this open call for Hill Justice.
Yeah.
It's a Dutch-based organization, but they have an incubation in Nairobi. They've been supporting quite a number of startups within the justice space.
Yeah.
So family justice, our own personal experiences. My dad passed on in 2006.
Yeah.
But the process of getting, it's called succession. The succession process has to go through the court.
Yeah.
So a person passes on, even if you have a will or something like that, all the members in the family, you have to go to court, stand before a judge and say, we've agreed to share this in this manner. Yes. So it's a simple process, but not many people know that.
Yeah.
So that time, lots of brokers, or even today, I think lots of brokers are in the system. Kitu ni ngumu sana, we tupatie tu, will do it for you. But now, I'm here in Mombasa.
Yeah.
But it has to be in the high court where that property is mostly.
Yeah.
So like for me, I come from Busia.
Yes.
My dad passes on, any property or something will need to file that succession case and go to Busia in person.
Yeah.
Had I been having maybe a relation in the States or something, they have to, those days they had to come in person.
Yeah.
Maybe right now with Zoom and whatever.
Yeah.
But all of you have to be before a judge, in the same room, before a judge, and he's asking each of you. So those days, when the judge, let's say there is court not, the notice of court not sitting, so I've spent time, taken leave, traveled all the way to Busia, and you find the judge is not there.
Oh, he has some other commitments.
So you see, the time, resources and all that. So that was purely what Familia was doing.
Yeah.
It was to help keep track of just court cases in just SMS, or in case a judge is not sitting, an SMS is sent to all the people tagged on that case. They'll get, and then you see, for the status of the case, it's a very short thing. It's like this case came for mention maybe today, the next hearing date is this. Only that, knowing such things.
But you have to appear.
So that is on the appearing is that. But another thing, maybe if you're interested in a particular case, but you don't know what happened, maybe your lawyer has gone to court, but you yourself, you're interested in that case, but you have to get it from the lawyer.
Yes.
So it was like, you can get that information. At least you could send a short code, SMS, and then get the status of that case just via SMS. So that was purely what Familia was trying to do. So we ran the pilot in Kiambu. But you see, for the business model, for me, it was more like the spark. It is the government that is meant to be doing this thing for its citizens.
I see.
So you see, I'm actually doing it. So we were partnering. So by me, developed a case management system that at that time was working within the Kiambu law courts. It's managing the internal court processes, but litigants can still access the thing. So that was how it was working. But now you see, from a business model kind of thing, we are doing, when the government wants now to do that thing, it's their mandate. So for me, it was more of like the spark for it. Yes, it can be done. So right now, I'm happy the government actually is doing the electronic thing. So for me, for Familia, that is how we got the Hill Innovation Fellowship.
Did you win the fellowship?
Yes. So we went to the Netherlands, did the bit. So they supported the initial bit of that.
Very nice, very nice. And then you defend your PhD. You become
for the defense that came much later, because now I switched. So as I was telling you, in as much as I was this other side, I wanted to get into academia. So the 2016, I applied for a tutorial fellow's job in Technical University of Mombasa. Thank God I get it.
Oh, okay. Yes. Still doing this Hill thing.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So I came, the initial bit, because now the Hill ran from that around 2016 to 2017.
Okay.
So I was doing it so I came, at least I was teaching a number of days. So I was doing it in Machakos and Kiambu. So some days of the week I come to Machakos, Kiambu, but much of it's just the court people who are actually working on the beat. Yeah.
Interesting, because that's when now, I didn't hear much about you. I could just even online it was not that much, but Yeah, so it ends up becoming where now you become starting your journey as a teacher. Or a lecturer.
What's the difference? I normally introduce myself at times just as a teacher. I don't know. It could be a terminology thing. It could be a terminology thing.
But it's the same. I try to tell people who are lecturers that the biggest career that you can have, that is even blessed, is being a teacher.
It's a noble profession.
And even everyone at some point they are teachers. And even this went all the way to Jesus Christ experiencing this world.
Sure.
So as a lecturer, that's where your journey started as a tutorial fellow.
Sure.
And you've done good for yourself, man. Like I look at you, I'm like, how did you get to do all this? How has that experience been? Do you meet some fascinating kids that actually even don't know they're really smart, and you look at them, you're like, what? Man, if you know what you can do with how smart you are.
Sure. There are a lot of fascinating things.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, I think I could be wrong. Looking back, you see, the way you're nostalgic, or we are nostalgic about SEI.
Yeah.
And the way things ran there. And then you come, or maybe I'm working maybe even at the C4D, and then I come to the Technical University of Mombasa.
Yeah.
All these public universities have different dynamics. They're big universities, like you see, you could be in Chiromo, but even you don't know the principal.
Yes.
You know, there are all these schools, but there are places where you could walk to the whole university could be closer together.
Yeah.
So there are both advantages and disadvantages. Had I been maybe in SEI, I may not be the chair of department, so to speak.
Yeah.
But like I'm the professor, okay, Lord, go home. SEI, wherever it is I am right now.
Yeah.
So I'm a chair of department. So it's a different dynamic, so to speak.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing, quite a number of like my co-founder in the VUA Solutions is my former student.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. So this side I teach BBIT, Bachelor of Business and
Information Technology. Yeah.
Though within our university, it's best at the School of Business.
Yeah.
So I'm a resident sort of computing lecturer within the School of Business.
Yeah.
But it goes also the blend. I did an MBA and also the PhDs in business information systems. So there is that mix. But there is something having created a culture. You see, the way I was talking about maybe become single or something.
Yeah.
The people who join after a particular time, the people who join in after a particular time, they if they find a particular culture already, you get to first year and then you look at the projects that people in fourth year have done. Yeah. You're like, wow, I can. It motivates you to do more. It motivates you to do more, or it sparks some curiosity in you to see. But if you are you're the trailblazers or the one charting the path, you may be timid at first to. You're not. There is that imposter syndrome in a way, or you're not sure about yourself. You're not sure of your capabilities or something like that. But if at all you find a community, MK was here. MK was here. Oh, these guys, MK is here. Oh, I don't know, there is Derek. Oh, I don't know, they're doing amazing things. So you're like, by the time you're joining, you know, these are the capabilities and I could even surpass. Yes. But now when you're the first one trying to chat, only outliers would be the ones. So a good majority. So that is the culture we are trying to we are trying to build, and now with support for, like when you're having events and encouraging more of these students to join. That bit of the community, it's in the community that is you learn quite a bit of these things. True. Or even maybe the programming. In class, it's not, you just taught the very fundamentals of stuff. But now much of these other things, you learn it either from the community or from your peers. Because it's, hey, Gabe, and how did you do this? The peer learning is a lot more impactful and practical.
And even the way
than,
they explain it to you.
Yes, it's different from how
And you don't learn it to pass. You just learn it because you're curious.
To know the skill and all that. Yeah. So it's a different mode, so to speak. Yeah.
So how does this Bay Hub, which is Blue Economy Innovations Hub, start? Because last time now we touched base, and I don't know even now I knew you were into. I'm not sure. I don't know. Did I can't remember well, but Egessa, you are in Mombasa, or even I don't know how we meet. I can't remember well, but you're telling me there is this business innovation hub, which is Bay Hub, economy innovation, that you are running at the Technical University of Mombasa. Me, I'm thinking maybe you are running that. Kumbe, on the other side, you're also a lecturer. Not only a lecturer, but now when I meet you, maybe a few months it's a few months afterwards, you are like head of department.
Yes. But I've been here for quite a while.
Yeah.
Since 2016
That's what I've realized. That's what I've realized.
2016 September. So after C4D, I just came to teach.
Yeah.
But from C4D, I've seen what C4D can do in a higher learning institution.
Yes.
And then for me, it's that community, a conducive space for co-creation of solutions. We have C4D. There is the IB's iLab Strathmore. You'll find either Chandaria Innovation Center within KU.
Yeah.
They have, I think, D-Hub or something like that.
Yeah.
You go to universities abroad, the MITs, there is the D school.
More than one innovation hub.
iLab
school.
Yes. In SA, all these VITs, UCT, all of them have hubs, labs, whatever it is you may call them, but it's a platform for co-creating solutions in the space. So I come to TUM and I'm like, I should, from the C4D experience, we should just set up a place where you co-create this stuff. Shock on me, I think it's the same things the other side. So the politics within, whether universities or whatever, at times it's sad. But at times, there are particular places, as you're saying, you're having these great ideas. But if it's not pushed by either a doctor, a
professor, doesn't make sense.
It's so it could be the same idea, but by whoever. So part of even the doctorate or whatever. So I was doing it, but I would have started even it way earlier. But because you're not a doc or something, because now it's until 2020 when I was a doctor.
As a doctor
it was easier to try. But even at that point, there are lots of internal politics. Just getting a room, it's different or whatever. So at that point, even started it like a virtual, because ideally it's not a space. It's bringing what I was calling the quadrahelix. It's just not academia. So bring together academia, bring together private sector, the actual users, and even government in the space, civil society, to co-create solutions. The solution could be more impactful. So that is the thesis that we are having. So what would make the hub different from C4D, from what is what is the difference for us? So at that point, the university, Technical University of Mombasa, on one end it touches the sea, on one end of the. So Blue Economy was a perfect fit for us. So we didn't call it maybe a lab or an incubation center very specifically, because an incubation, I don't have the resources to at that point to incubate or to, but I needed a platform where we are co-creating this. And then I'm coming from a computing background. So Blue Economy seemed it's a different. But I look back, I'm more in the fisheries. I had some love for fish. And even the project that I did in undergrad was on a fish farming or something like that. So out of it, there is so there are lots of great researchers into. There's a doctor called Dr. Cosmas Munga. He's in the fisheries and marine. He's a really specialist in that. But packaging that within the fisheries and marine ecosystem, he's revered. So I was like, anything. So pick strategic leads in these other thematic areas within the blue economy.
Yeah.
So in fisheries, there is a lead.
Yeah.
In maritime transport, in the coastal tourism.
Wow.
In environment, and then we co-create. Yes.
Yeah.
So along those conversations is where support now, because at the initial stage, support either startups that are in this specific space.
Yeah.
So like the Kuza Freezer, you'll be having maybe the podcast with Deno.
Yeah.
So there are quite a number of startups within the blue economy. So Kuza Freezer, there is a guy called Morganics. They're doing seaweed and creating fertilizer out of it.
Yeah.
So that was the drive.
Yes.
And being within an academic institution, there are quite a number of hubs that are there. So like the Sote or the Swahili box, Close the Gap. What was paining me is most of them, it's our students who go to those hubs.
Yeah.
But it's only the outliers.
Okay.
The guys who will push themselves to go there. What if we're having something within where now more people, it's a space within that a lot more people could. The way I was telling you a spark, you'll see something at a 40 years, it could ignite something within you. So that has been the goal.
Yes.
It's not been an easy journey, even maybe internally for some quarters or something like that, getting space or something like that.
Yeah.
So we could partner with, we ran some Solid Waste hackathon, but now in partnership with Close the Gap at that time, or now with Sote in the Blue Economy, investment summits and things like that. So lots of collaborations and partnership with other ecosystem players to just take it ahead. So like the VUA solution, it's a startup. So I was creating it as a platform where now other people, you could plug into this platform and figure out how it could be of benefit to you and impactful to the society.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the interesting part, Mathew, is that blue economy is a sleeping giant when you think about it for a minute. I think we had off the camera and off the recording conversation on how big this could be, and none of us actually could wrap around why people are not exploring all these opportunities. And maybe guys can tell us under the comment. For me, it was just brick and mortar kind of business. If I think about Dar es Salaam or Tanzania, people who wants to go to the island, and I'm sure even here in Kenya we have some island. I know people who travel to Lamu just to wind down and have a good time. And I know also places like Miami where they do cruise ship business, where it's entertainment, or even in a smaller scale they do ocean parties with some nice boats where you go just have some packages, and these are actually just to stimulate the economy, because in that there are people who are serving the drinks, there are DJs there. There are people who are maybe serving some cuisine. In that economy, you can find a lot of things happening. All Mombasa is known for is during December or Easter holiday, people come here, go to the beach, and that's it. Maybe I'm just ignorant. And when it comes to exploring the ocean and the fishery and all this, there is so much. What, for you, is it something that actually gets you starting VUA at this point, whereby now you are adding value addition, export? And one example is how people fish tuna and package it. And even we are looking at how do you package it and add value. If you sell tuna here, you'll sell at X. If you sell it far away from here, just add some few value and preserve it, you add 10X. If you take it to Nairobi, maybe 100 or 200X. Why is it so difficult to navigate these waters? I know Kuza Freezer is doing an amazing job in how do you preserve, how do you bring it to the dry land, how do you preserve it after you don't sell everything in the evening, how do you do youth fishing and then maybe for the week you don't have to go to the ocean every single day, how do you serve it fresh? So it's white and black that there is a lot of opportunity that could be explored. What is the biggest challenge in this marine economy?
As you've rightfully stated, blue economy, for me, it has been there. Mm-hmm. It's a buzzword for now, and there is quite some bit of focus towards it.
Yeah.
But since the days of our great-grandfathers, just taking advantage sustainably of any water resources would be termed blue economy. So whether the fishing, the maritime transport, the shipping, the port that is here, and all the trade and all that is handled by the maritime shipping. And then there is the coastal marine conservation, the mangroves, carbon. Nowadays the carbon credit, because the blue carbon would be, it is removing lots and lots of CO2 compared to even terrestrial forests and things like that. So the opportunities are immense, so to speak. And there's been a lot of focus. So government, like there are quite a number of projects and programs that have been running, whether by development partners, government itself. There is a World Bank project called KEMSED that is meant to stimulate that. So lots of partners, whether it's venture builders, like even for VUA, it was part of a fellowship by BFA Global.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to them. So they picked 30 fellows from all across Africa. And you are to partner amongst yourselves and come up with new ventures within the blue economy space. But doing that, so they have a climate smart aspect to it. So whether it'll be a solution within the tourism, environment, or fisheries, but I was more inclined to fishermen and fisheries. But other than whatever it is our project maybe is working on, there is lots of opportunities, and we just can't do enough of it. Looking at it maybe as a systems approach to it. There's a startup that we are partnering with. It's called Kumbatia Seafood. They get tuna from an island called Kiwayu. But right now they've expanded to almost all the islands in Lamu. So whether Amu, Kiwayu, Kiunga, Faza, Pate, they're getting fish from there, and they're giving a premium to the fishermen. But for them, they've moved a notch, because the quality, even if it's you want to take it either to now Nairobi or for export, right now they're getting into the export market. The quality has to be top notch. So it's sushi grade, and for that, so they have to empower the infrastructure. They have to empower their fishers with ice. They go with ice to the wild fishing on their expeditions. They'll have to train them. So there are lots of training on how they gut the fish, how they bleed, and all that. And then now moving that, because now they transport even just using buses, but now the ice and all that to hear how it's packaged to the other side. So that could be one aspect. And then the mindset, especially because we could be looking at this point, I'm looking at some disconnect, so to speak. There is a way a VC looks at the startups, and then there is a way, so like maybe for VUA, we could be more from an impact perspective. Because we're only working with around 40 fishers. So much of the impact on them, because they're saving our platform. We're partnering with Kumbatia. As Kumbatia pays these fishers, automatically a particular percentage, either 10, 20, is saved for them, because fishing is a seasonal thing. So about 6 or less months of bumper harvest, and some other months, nothing. So, and there are lots more of chamas and all that for women. But now men, not necessarily. So for us, it was more geared towards them. But now those fishers who fish sustainably. So like for tuna fishing, you're catching one at a time. But now the fishing reels are quite expensive. Could get one for 80K or more. So like even in our pilot, part of whatever it is we did, it's give credit to this, but out of their savings. So they save. So the discipline to save is not there. And shout out to Chura and Chums, because I told some the time I saw that there are lots of these either loan apps and more of the loaning than the saving culture.
So
or
Chums,
investing.
Chums is more of saving than just loans.
they don't even do loans, I doubt.
Yeah.
I doubt if they're doing loans.
Yeah.
So it's more of saving and either getting returns from your savings. So it'll be better returns than
the bank,
yes, because it's more of a money market. So they're partnering with a money market fund where at least you're getting some interest out of your savings.
Yeah.
So for encouraging just that culture, not just it's a game changer. So it was almost the same bit about these guys. You could save, but now the discipline to save is where either the fishers are not having. So that is the point that we were coming with as well. Because so far there is a lot of impact that it has created on this. Because you'll find in a day they could spend more than 5K on fuel. But if they just don't have that fuel, it's a problem. But the guy has saved over 20K. So it'll be nice you give him part of the money he goes, but he'll just repay it, so to speak.
So you mentioned that it's 6 months of harvesting, let me call it that way, for fishers, and 6 months of seasonal, you can't do much. Is this castigated by the tooling? Is it castigated by the weather? Is it? What is the challenge?
It's mostly weather. It's mostly weather because the sea is rough. So in Swahili they say there is kusi and kaskazi, or the scientific ones they call them, I don't know, some monsoon winds. So they are, I don't know, southwest or north monsoon winds. So like right now between either November and around, so let's say September, but the peak could come from either November, December into around March, April, would be the seas are calmer. So they could go deeper into the sea. But after that, the seas become rough. So much of the fishing, they'll just do either foot fishing or in the near shore waters. So there could be more on the other side that they could get. So it'll be different species that they get, but even if they get, the seas are rough and there are quite a number of even seasonal fishes. During those low months, they don't even go for fishing. But you see, you still have needs that you'll need, the financial needs.
Life keeps moving on.
Life keeps moving. So whether you're taking kids to school or healthcare needs or things like that, it's still...
So if I had a startup and I could provide maybe the tooling, which means maybe better boats, better, even educate them on, okay, I cannot talk about overfishing here because at the end of the day, when I look at it, it's still small fishing, underfishing rather.
It is.
It could actually change the dynamics because that means you could go a bit further into the sea where it is allowed, and you could still do fishing. Maybe cut that into, instead of 6 months, now it becomes 9 months, maybe 3 months of no fishing. According to experience and how maybe you understand, because you have more info and understanding of the landscape more than I do. Do you think that would really fly?
Maybe partly, because the other thing, a mindset or let's say the fisheries this side. You'll find the fisheries in inland, maybe like Victoria, is quite more advanced, or they're looking at it more from the business, sense and all that. And then, I don't know, maybe the hunch that I'll have, there are also quite a number of Wanito Pemba, either from TZ or whatever. I don't know if it's the
from
skill,
Pemba Island.
The skill of fishing that they have a better skill. So they could come here and even they fish from this. They come fish in our waters. Quite a number of even the people owning boats, they could employ Mpemba to come do fishing for them. But now the Mpemba, they'll receive the cash, just keep it. But within that fishing season, the guy could go home with even over, in the region of millions. Yes. So I don't know whether it's a mindset thing, a training thing, a skills thing for some of them. So there are lots of dynamics to it. So there are those who are actually doing it as a business aggressively and in a particular way. But kuna wengine ni Mungu today, nikipata nikikosa pia ni Mungu and all that. But there is lots of potential, and then you'll find the industrial fishing will definitely be way more. How should I put it? It would bring in definitely more
progress. Yeah.
Yes.
So, of course, definitely it sounds like even there is some mindset, education, shift that needs to happen. But of course, for Wapemba and Zanzibaris, they are in Ireland, and I think that for the generation that could be the only source of living that they have been used to. So it's generational, which I call apprenticeship.
Yes.
I'm not a believer of mentorship, as I keep saying.
Yes.
And the reason is that when you learn something by seeing how it's done, you internalize it more and you can actually innovate around it. So, Mathew, what is the next thing? I don't want to ask you about the ring on the finger, but how is family? How is the family?
We thank God. We thank God. We're doing great.
The story you told me off the mic some time back, but let's leave it for now.
I'm curious.
How your wedding and how your promise? Yeah.
Fine. I think I get it. It's life. It's life. But
don't ever.
I'm really grateful because my wife has been a great support system. And the same frequency of stupidity. That's how I call it. The same frequency of crazy or the same frequency of madness.
Because you have done amazing stuff. Oh.
Though a different. We met after
medicine
but no, alikuwa anafanya microbiology. Chiromo still
microbiology. There is semiconductor,
microbiology,
Oh, nice.
Biotechnology. Though we started dating after campus, but she's been a great support system.
Guys, you hear if you go to the university, so
you get a couple of
open
degrees
your eyes and look around. It might come in handy. I don't know if a couple of guys I can mention here, but
yes,
let me not
we're not mentioning, but
I know some of them who have gotten their wives there, including the doctor himself, Dr. Mwansa. But it's a good thing, and that's how life is supposed to be. And I think shout out to all the women who stand by their men. And I know relationships, marriage is not really easy per se, and to some maybe it's easy, but of course it has own challenges. You have self-doubt, and you have a partner who actually tells you, man, you'll get this PhD even if it's after 5 years. When you get it, it will change, and actually it can contribute more. You not get frustration when you want to start a hub, and that alone actually can give you some strength. If you have children, there's someone actually who gives them motherly love and support. And even for the ladies on the other side, having a husband is a good thing, because life sometimes can be a bit chaotic to some extent. So shout out men, and I thought I should say that for all the married men. Sometimes we don't celebrate married men. It's always about Mother's Day, Girl Child Day, women International Women's Day. So so everyone who is stuck with the relationship, shout out to you, and keep at it. Family is a very important thing. So what's next for Bay Hub? What's next for VUA? And what's next for TUM, Technical University of Mombasa, now that you are the HOD?
For me, it's taking a step at a time. There are definitely the things would love to happen maybe a lot faster, but within government, so to speak, it's a change within. But you're trying. I call myself an entrepreneur. The guys who would want to be an entrepreneur within the government institution, within the systems, because quite a number of people are like, why wouldn't this Bay Hub be? Why the challenges with the uni or whatever, so you could just start it at the side and you do a lot more at the side. But for me, it is what it is. It can impact if it's within the uni. So I'm looking to more solutions, especially for and collaborations within the Bay Hub, to create a lot more impact to changing lives in the society, especially within this coastal space where we are. so that could be for Bay Hub and even by extension Technical University of Mombasa, impacting more lives.
Yeah.
For VUA, we're looking into partnerships because and changing lives of just those small scale fishers.
Yeah.
There is a bit about looking at, there is a way, it may not be making the return on investment if you're looking at it from the business case and scaling and all that.
Yeah.
Why not concentrate on now the deep sea fishing, which could be a lot more maybe profitable, though it's quite more, you need more to invest in. But for me, I'm normally drawn to more of the impact of like the social economics and inclusion, financial inclusion for those who are. So that is, for me, it's more. I'm more driven at a personal level to search. I don't know, maybe it's through either my upbringing or So, but we have different ways of looking at things. Yeah. But at least providing more inclusion to, for me, the small scale blue economy players. So, like for VUA, will be getting into other players within the blue economy space, but focusing on the small scale ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. So, Daktari.
Yes.
Please talk to our viewers. If you want, you can request them to subscribe and give them the parting shot.
Wow.
You can look at that.
Which one is camera one?
The one that is pointing at you. Where is our producer? I think it's this one. Yeah.
So, please subscribe to the. It's called Impact Masters.
Yeah, Impact Masters podcast. Or Impact Masters Media.
Please subscribe to their podcasts. And my parting shot. Try be the change that you want. All of us could give quite a bit, but let hope be the last that you could lose. You could lose every other thing, but don't lose hope. Just be the change that you can be or you want to be.
Yeah,
I think I could leave it at that. Subscribe to their podcast, and they're doing lots of amazing stuff.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
An amazing stuff. So, I've made it our culture or habit to conclude with African proverb or proverb from Africa. Teeth do not see poverty. And this proverb talks a lot about what is happening in Africa in different levels, especially the high levels, that people keep eating even where they're not supposed to be eating. So even when circumstances are dire, people still manage to find something to smile about. That's the other side of the people whose whatever is eaten should do more to them. And the reason why this proverb I find it really interesting for this conversation is that I believe Africa should not be where it is. But I also believe it's a collective, intentional, consistent action that will get out of where we are. And by the way, it might sound like I'm the guy who is saying we are so badly off. But the truth is, me and you might not consider ourselves badly off, but the majority don't know even what they will hit this evening. So with that, I find that wherever you are, if you ever listen to this, you have a responsibility that in one of those things that you do every day, or even if you are a doctor, you are a professor, you are a lecturer, you are a farmer, you are contributing in that small deed that you do. And through that collective action, we'll get there where we're supposed to be. If you're a leader, stop eating too much. Start seeing the poverty. Because the enemy is always the poverty. Without further ado, this was Michael Kimathi. If you want MK, and it was Africa's Talking podcast in collaboration with Impact Masters Podcasts. You can find Africa Stocking APIs, communication APIs on africastocking.com. And Africa Stocking empowers business to grow and developers to build through the APIs, SMS solutions. When you talk about OTP that you receive when you do transaction, that is Africa Stocking solution. Voice APIs that you can create customer care or a contact center. Like our friend here who tried in 2010 or 2009 to do IVR. Africa Stocking then wasn't a thing, but you can see the potential that we have. So we provide 2G solutions across 54 countries in Africa, and we're registered in over 20 markets in Africa. Check out africastocking.com. If you like podcasts, just check us out on Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast that's out there that is your favorite across the world. Until next time, have a blessed day, evening, morning, wherever you are.